Hello, everyone. So, today we are going to do the cognitive therapy. So, cognitive therapy, if we talk about the causes, or so to say, how is the psychological distress coming into being? What is the cause of these distresses in our lives? It is mainly the irrational beliefs and the thoughts. So, mainly the irrational beliefs can lead to psychological distress. Albert Ellis had come up with this therapy called the RET, which is the rational emotive therapy. And this therapy clearly believes that these irrational beliefs somewhere are between the antecedent events and the consequences. So, the very first step of the RET is the ABC analysis, where A stands for the antecedent events, B stands for the beliefs, and C stands for the consequences. Now, what are these antecedent events? Antecedent events are basically those events which have led to the psychological distress in the client's life, you know and also an interview is taken where we get to know about the irrational beliefs of the client, which are in a way distorting the realities of life, which are causing misperceptions in the client's life. So all these irrational beliefs which he holds are clearly distorting the reality. They are not letting him believe in certain things, or rather causing disbeliefs, and they are blocking the realities of life. They are in a way causing misperceptions. So clearly these irrational beliefs do not have hard evidences to support them even. And generally the beliefs which they hold are supported with all the musts and the shoulds, like how people sometimes have this negative belief. They hold this negative belief, that I must come first in all the exams, even though it's positive, but it's so much pressure that you're causing on your own self. Also that one should be loved by everybody all the time. And so these are the kind of beliefs which the person tends to hold, and there are all the musts and the shoulds which are used over there. And even on the slide we can clearly see that an event happened with the client, where for example A is the event where he kind of failed the driving test. He couldn't clear the driving test, and now which has led to the development of a belief where he feels that I am never going to pass. So, and then of course further the consequence can be whatever changes that he's going to feel in terms of his own behavior, in terms of the negative emotions that he's going to start sensing. So these distorted perceptions which are being caused because of the event, the antecedent event, and they are in a way because of the belief system, because of the negative belief system. These distortions, or the distortion of the realities or the misperceptions are being caused, and further it is leading to consequences. So consequences can be negative emotions, consequences can be negative behaviors. And generally if we want to really assess the irrational belief of a person, we are going to be assessing with the help of questionnaires, we are going to be assessing with the help of interviews. So interviews and a lot of questionnaires are going to help me understand what are the various beliefs which the person actually holds. And further when we talk about the process of RET, all the rational beliefs are of course going to be refuted, or are going to be disapproved by the therapist, with the help of a process which is called the non-directive questioning. Now, I know that my client is battling a lot of negative beliefs which have cropped up very clearly because of a certain event that happened in his life. But I want to, transform this negative belief system into a positive belief system. So as a therapist I cannot be judgmental. I need to continue to maintain unconditional positive regard. I need to be soft. I need to continue to be a good listener, yet I want the answers, yet I want to put my point across. So, with the help of the non directive questioning, the questioning is going to be very gentle. The way of questioning is going to be not very directive, it's not going to be probing at all. And when these questions are going to be put up by the therapist to the client, these questions are going to help the client to be able to think once again deeper and deeper into his own assumptions. So whatever assumptions he has about life, whatever assumptions he's been holding about his problems, about his situations, whatever he's been battling, so he will start thinking deeper and deeper because of the questions that are going to be asked in a very gentle way by the therapist. And now, because of this kind of a deep thinking that he's going to be getting into, the client, of course the client will get into a deeper thinking, he will be able to bring about the change of the irrational beliefs. And how can these irrational beliefs be changed? When he's going to change his own philosophy about life. How is he basically going to look at his life, his own viewpoint, his perspective towards life. So when that changes, of course, then slowly his belief systems will also start changing, and the rational belief system will ultimately take over the irrational belief system. And once the belief system has been resolved, it has been replaced, now very well the psychological distress in the person's life can be reduced. So this is how the cognitive therapy, when I'm especially talking about the RET, works, where RET very clearly, this rational emotive therapy states that before every emotional response, a thinking pattern is present in each one of us. A thinking pattern is present in each one of us. And if that thinking pattern is negative, it will lead to a negative belief system. So, what are we doing? We are trying to work on the thinking patterns, on the thoughts of a person, his own assumptions about his situations, his own assumptions about life. How can these assumptions be changed? How can he look deeper within into his own life so that he can start working on these assumptions? And therefore, when there is going to be a change, in the philosophy about life, definitely the irrational belief systems will also start changing, you know into the rational belief system. So once the belief system has been replaced, it has been resolved, definitely the kind of psychological distress that probably he was feeling is definitely going to reduce. So this was all about the rational emotive therapy by Albert Ellis. Thank you so much.